Thank you very much for joining us for the news review segment of the AM show. We're going to be digging into the papers and bringing you the latest going on in Ghana and across the world. I'm doing this together with Mama V. Ozovaji. Good morning.
Hey, hi, good morning, Ben. You're good?
Well here. Some fatigue and a few things, certain things, but Charlie, life goes on. Like we say, we move.
Yeah.
We move. Hope you're well too.
What day we move, yeah. I think it's just the fatigue is catching up on all of us, isn't it?
Oh no, it's real. It's very
stressful
very
these
real.
days, but hey, we'll manage it. Welcome to the review segment
but did
of
you
our
just
show.
change the phrase?
Which one's that?
You know, we usually say God day we day. You just said God day we move. So you've just created a new one right there. Anyway, so we shall dig into the papers. Which ones do you have?
The Daily Graphic, the National Enquirer. It's been a while since I saw the
Long
Enquirer.
time.
Yeah.
Very long time.
The Daily Dispatch and the Daily Statesman.
From my end, the Ghanaian Times newspaper, the Daily Guide, the Finder, and the Business and Financial Times. I'll commence with the headlines. And the Ghanaian Times says Jean Mensa as adverse witness. That is exactly what the petitioner in the 2020 election petition is calling for. And the Supreme Court rules on motion today. So that's another one to look forward to. 4 die in Adenta Dodowa road crash. That's a very sad incident. Pictures there of the mangled cars on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Should we get to see the shot of the front page, you would get a sight of that. Police deployed to combat crime on highways, and President attends G5 Sahel Summit in Chad. Those are some of the major stories there. Then when you go to page 3, Ablikuma Central shooting case adjourned to March 15. Should time suffice, I'll highlight that. There's a reason I want to get into that. But on that same page, 5 pubs shut for violating COVID-19 safety protocols. It appears for some people, there is no way they are going to comply unless maybe some force is applied. On the next page, Minister of Communication Digitization designate appears before Appointments Committee. We'll delve into some of the matters that arose when she actually took her turn for vetting the Kelny GVG issue, the free Wi-Fi in schools, and all of that. We'll be delving into the details. The middle spread of the paper, ECOWAS delegation ends pre-election visit to Benin, and GTA distributes 400 pieces of chocolate to frontline workers. On Sunday with MFRPO, we came face to face with some of the difficulties our frontline workers, healthcare workers have been facing, what they've been suffering, and maybe only fitting for this to happen on Valentine's Day. President Akufo-Addo attends a G5 Sahel Summit in Chad, like I read from the front page. On the back page, the Upper East region needs combined harvesters to boost farmer services. That's according to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture's regional director. And the public is being cautioned against consumption of adulterated groundnut paste. So while you take your favorite nkatenkwang, be careful that you are not taking something else. I shall get into that story, God willing. That's it for the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Let's do the Daily Graphic on the front page. Independence celebration suspended. President attends the G5 summit, but the banner headline here, faded markings pose threat to road users. Daily Graphic sending a team on an, they call it observation tour, and they monitored the situation around the Tetekwashi Interchange, Ring Road Central, Osu, Kanishi, Awudome Estate, Teshinongad, and Sumanachimota, and Dabraka and Ridge. And you can add the other list to it because you'll be absolutely right on this one. And it became clear that most of the markings were faded or missing. There's some sort of response that I will be sharing with you a bit later on. Supreme Court rules on Mahama's reopening of case today in the center spread. The National Board for Small-Scale Industries has disbursed 37 billion Ghana cedis to creative arts practitioners who applied for loans under the COVID-19 Alleviation Program Business Support Scheme. Details of that in the center spread. CPC embarks on expansion project to increase production. The National Ambulance Service responded to 35,934 emergency cases across the country between 2020 and January 2021. That's a lot. There's a good breakdown of the situation in terms of the regions in the center spread. On the back page, police shut down pubs, drinking spots on Val's Day. And Noguchi receives digital laboratory information system is also another story on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. I guess that would be it for me.
Let's do the Daily Guide now. I didn't target opposition stations. That's according to the Minister Designate for Communication and Digitization, Ursula Owusu Kofo. She was quizzed yesterday about the likes of Radio Gold, Radio XYZ, and others, which through the regulator, which is the National Communications Authority, were shut. And she was blamed, supposedly, for targeting them. But she did indicate that the process started all the way back in 2017 and that there was no targeting, so to speak. Then Funny Face ordered to go for psychiatric evaluation. That's actually in the middle spread of the paper. And if you're a big fan, these are worrying times for Funny Face, who has been ordered by a circuit court at Ofanko near Kaswa in the Central Region to seek mental health evaluation to ascertain whether or not he is normal, in quote, so to speak. And a lot of people have been reacting to this story on social media, but that court, presided over by Ebenezer Osaidako, asked the Ghana Police Service to make sure the comedian Born Benson Nanaya Odro Boateng is taken to the Accra Psychiatric Hospital for the next 2 weeks. So that's the story there. Oforiatta lands in US for checkup. Stop live draw telecast. That story also there to do with national lotteries. Then Mahama versus Jean Mensa, judges decide today. And are we going to have an adverse witness in the box? That's the big question that the court will decide today. Other stories in the middle spread of the paper. President affirms his love for First Lady on Valentine's Day. Did you see that gift? Did you see it? Gargantuan, you would say. There's a picture there of the first couple. And Miss Ghana 2020 unveiled as brand ambassador for IPMC Ghana. Tax Momo fees. Ursula will be talking about that in the paper. That's on page 9. And Esther Koba joins International PR Association board. On the back page of the paper, you'd expect some sports. And indeed, you wouldn't be denied that. Sergio Ramos is set for a Real Madrid exit. Who knows? He might be coming to my team, Manchester United. Then Hisense fulfills pledge to Kotoko and scorers. And don't worry about me. That is Liverpool's manager, Jurgen Klopp. That's it with the Daily Guide newspaper.
All right, let's get into the Daily Dispatch. Front page of the Dispatch today. Unprecedented rowdy nature of MPs attracted soldiers into chamber. Benefsin analyzing the situation as it happened. With the soldiers on the floor of Parliament. And he says he's actually commended the commander who made that call. And details of what he's been saying is on the back page of his paper today. NLA wants GTV to stop live telecasts of illegal Alpha Lotto draw. Nyonyo retained his Volta Region Council of State slot by 2 votes. There was a tie in the Western region, and so they had to do the election again, but I think it was, with the Council of States membership, do we say incumbents or, if the representative who served in the last?
If the person just did it and is standing again, then the person is incumbent.
So this was a tie, I think 14-14, but when they went for the rerun, the margin was wide. I think she garnered about 24 of the votes.
But did you mention Nyonyo? Because he won the first time.
Yes. So this is, again, another kind of situation, except that his was not like the Western region.
Right.
It wasn't a tie.
I think there were about 2 of them that were outstanding after the first vote. So it means those have been cleared. Those hurdles have been cleared now. We have a complete.
Okay, I think I'm done with the Dispatch.
The Finder, I am in good spirits, medical bills not on government. That's according to Finance Minister Designate Ken Ofori-Atta. Supreme Court to rule on reopening of petitioner's case today. Man cries for help as unknown sickness leaves grandson in critical condition. It is sad. The boy can't do much. He can't even walk. That story is on page 4 of the paper. 2,589 die in road crashes. Motorcycles killed 1,056. Commercial vehicles killed 964. And private vehicles killed 569. Details we've been talking about. So let's all try to drive safely and stay alive. Coalition calls for closure of LGBTQI office in Ghana. COCOBOT to recruit 50,000 people for COCO rehabilitation. That's according to the boss, Mr. Edu. And then WTO finally appoints Nigeria's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as new Director General. She would be the first to actually take up that position. So kudos to her, and we wish her the very, very best. When you go to the middle spread, it actually captures those same stories I read from the front page. So I'll just skip that for now. It's done with the Finder.
Okay, let's do the Daily Statesman. Front page, President Akufo-Addo attends G5 Sahel Summit in Chad. Ken in good spirit. And Charlie, some Ghanaians can be very mean. A person is not well, and because of all the rumors, I guess the team was forced to send a picture and tell us that Ken Ofori-Atta is well and in good spirit. Can we give people some kind of privacy if they're not well to get better? At least pray for them. There's a saying that once you take up public life, or you, like even these so-called celebrities, your life is no longer yours. But I think we've got to the point where we don't even know when to let certain things go because they are simply private. I mean, that's why when you go to a medical doctor, they can't share certain details with the public unless you want to put it out there because it's private. So we must be a bit cautious with these. Did you see some weeks back, Papa Kwesi Ndum, a picture that was trending and people saying, he had fallen on hard times and, just because I think he was somewhere in the US and he took a picture kind of a bit ragged with his beard because, we know him to be which is
shaven.
how a lot of people live these days because they're not going out.
I mean, the sort of things people were saying, oh, the man is broken. Charlie. Kasao. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's that. Can we do the business and financial times?
Well, yeah, we can. But I just wanted to say, maybe was the rumor also fueled by the statement released by the finance ministry? Perhaps. Otherwise, I don't think a lot of people would have been aware of the situation in the first place, apart from the notice to the committee sitting in Parliament to vet the ministers who have been nominated to occupy various ministries. I guess that's why this all started.
So on page 3, well, when you look at the headlines, the first story it has there is actually captured on page 3. Large quantities of vaccines can only arrive next year. That's according to the EIU. And it talks about how the country's quest to revive the economy to return to its pre-pandemic levels may not be realized early, as government's intention to secure vaccines for 20% of the population may only be possible next year. That's according to the Economist Intelligence Unit country report for February 2021. You can check out the details from that paper. FDA extends ongoing registration of imported products to February ending, and UDS commits to introducing demand-driven programs. The NLA, as we've read, is also cautioning against fraudulent digital lottery platforms. On the back page, farmers in the north hoard maize in anticipation of higher prices. Now, that's not good. That's not patriotic. And FBN Bank to support SMEs to benefit from AFTA through compliance with ICOMS. So that's it for me.
You said that's not patriotic.
Tell
that to those who stop.
But the sense of patriotism, Krana said,
stop
like
sanitizers and hand wash soap. Who decided that because the numbers are going up, they've increased the price. That's not how they bought it too. That's not how much they bought it.
Even hydrogen peroxide in recent times. The prices hiked. And people, no, reality. I mean, you would go something that was going for maybe 6, 7 CDs. Now they are telling you because of the cost, they are telling you 15 CDs or something.
The person in the village is also doing it.
But if we all wanted to do this.
That's the thing. The National Enquirer newspaper is the next paper that I'll look at. Hostile witness Jean Mensa must enter the box. Enter the nets. Enter the nets. Well, Mahama's legal team justifies, but we know the ruling is today. I won't apologize for insulting you. Arrogance. And this is the way the paper puts it. Eslowusu tells NDC MPs during vetting, denies targeting Radio Gold, XYZ closure. There's a bit about Esla talking about sitting on Akando's labs, and you want to hear it? Did you listen to it? Okay, listen. When I was listening to her,
interesting. The pushing and the explanation and the apology.
Because publicly after that incident, she hasn't talked about it. So here's Esla responding to that particular situation that we haven't had her address yet. Here we go.
You and Honorable Akando, what do you say to that? You and Honorable Akando, what do you say? Honorable Akando, what do you say to that?
Mr. Chairman, I have been sitting in this particular chair for hours that day. By the time I got up to go to the washroom, everybody had assumed a particular seat in this house and was sitting in the chair. I got up to go to the washroom. Honorable Akanda was sitting behind Honorable Obiamwa, right here. So he had a seat in the house. It's not as if he was also now looking for a chair to sit on. In my experience, even when there are no seats available, gentlemen get up to offer their seats to ladies who may not have a seat in the house. They do not leave the chair they are sitting on and come and occupy the seat that the lady is sitting on. When I came back from the washroom, his seat was vacant. He was sitting in this chair. Honorable Otute was sitting where Honorable Collins Dowda was supposed to sit. He saw that I had returned and he refused to get up from the seat and sat down. I had two or a few options open to me. It was obvious that he was hoping to provoke an incident or a confrontation with me. After all the excitement of that day, I didn't want to be party to any such thing. But I did need to sit down. So I sat in the chair that I was occupying before I went to the washroom, which he happened to be sitting on. When I sat down, he started trying to shake me off and was moving back and forth before he quickly realized that it would have unintended consequences that would not be good for him. And so he quickly stopped and froze. And at that point, I decided to restrain him from causing any further damage to himself. And so I used physical restraints to subdue him. So it was physical restraint of an obstreperous adult.
Yes, Chairman. Yeah, I think that was last, but if she said, and she's trying to justify what that they happened, if you claim there was an empty chair of his, and you had just said that you thought that it was free sitting, why didn't you go and sit there? And you sat on his lap. You thought that was leadership to do that?
Mr. Chairman, certain things are best left to the imagination. Thank you.
Oh, if you're looking for more, you have to imagine the rest. You have to physically restrain Mr. Akando.
What does that even mean?
Please, you are the Englishman. You should be telling us what that means.
No, but what does that even mean? Physically restrain him because...
some things are left.
Hey!
Just the way we hear them. Okay, so that's it really. For me, are you getting into the papers?
I shall, but before I do so, how often do you think lawyers change their wigs?
Oh, I don't know, but when the Chief Justice gives an order, you've got to follow. And for now,
No, but what if you're attached to the wig and it's sort of representative of your character?
The identity of that wig has changed.
It's kind of like football players or some sportsmen and women who want to retain certain numbers even when they move to different teams, like Cristiano Ronaldo, number 7. So maybe it's your lucky wig. But when the Chief Justice tells you, say, Charlie.
But apart from the Chief Justice, I think many people notice that in the course of his presentations, his argument, we would see him adjust a few times. Is it a few times? Many times, I must say. And the Chief Justice couldn't miss that. So, yeah. Okay, so shall we get into some details? I want to do this in the Daily Graphic newspaper. The observation and the monitoring mission that the Daily Graphic embarked in a number of communities here in Accra, and they noticed that the roads markings had faded, but they also did visit some ceremonial streets. But, those places, because of state functions, they regularly maintain those markings. That's the explanation that they got from the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Isaac J. Kwachi, and he admitted the observations that the Daily Graphic made. But he talks about a number of things, reasons for the faded nature of the road markings. He says every year we're supposed to do marking of the roads, but because of the coronavirus pandemic, we faced financial challenges, and as a result, we couldn't award enough contracts in 2020 for the remarking of roads. Interestingly, the National Road Safety Authority has also noticed the same observation by the Daily Graphic, and they said that as part of their plan this year to wage a campaign for the proper maintenance of all street marking across the country. So basically some of the responses on this very important issue that the Daily Graphic highlights in today's paper. No road markings on this stretch on the Graphic Road. So they started from home. The picture that you see on the front page of the paper, that stretch of road is one that is right in front of the Daily Graphic itself, and there are no road markings. Absolutely zilch. Okay.
Let's get into the Ghanaian Times newspaper. I just want to reiterate that story on page 3. 5 pubs shut for violating COVID-19 safety protocols. And the story talks about 5 pubs in Teshi near Accra, which on Valentine's Day were shut down by the police for violating COVID-19 safety protocols. And they are Impress at Point 5, Cold Store, Core Bridge, near Tebibiano, Stanford Bridge, also at Tebibiano, Pablo at Anumantu, and Yewu, behind the Gono School. Now, the Public Relations Officer of the Accra Regional Police Command, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Efia Tengle, who disclosed these, that's Efia Tengle, just so she doesn't get mad at me, to the Ghanaian Times in Accra yesterday, said owners of the pubs have been asked to report to the police to assist in investigations. But I raised this point because even yesterday, interacting with Joe Jackson, Dr. Bediako, and others, one thing is clear. Even this point we've got to, people still feel, if I don't want to wear a mask, I won't wear it. And some establishments, you remember the other day, it was a Lebanese outfit nightclub, also the person at the helm of affairs, where he was arrested. Today, it is these pubs that we are talking about near Teshi, which are also doing their thing. So the impunity and how, we are not cracking the whip, I believe that is not aiding the cause at all. But there is... No, go ahead.
On that issue, and I'm looking for a statement that was issued, I think the police in Upper East, I think, and I wanted to commend them. See, they didn't wait for people to not do the right thing and then come back and report the way you're reporting. They actually issued a statement. And they said, and it was directed, it wasn't also even an open statement. They actually sent letters out from the police command to the various joints, the pubs, the places they knew people would be jamming, and they told them directly that you are not to operate.
Precautionary measure.
And
so
I thought...
You have no business opening and saying, I didn't know it included me.
And I hope that this is Upper East I think, because I was thinking about I'll be sorry when I saw the statement, and I'll look for it, and we will have to shout the commander out and all the personnel, because I think they did a fantastic job. You don't always have to wait for people to do the wrong thing, and then you come back and say you've arrested, and then, you know, that kind of, what they did was absolutely good. And I'll find the statement.
I don't know whether it's also the Upper East. There's another region where something similar happened, but this time, if they caught you without a mask, there was a little fine, 20 cedis, 50 cedis, and the rest. And I feel those are realistic.
I think it's
it will compel people to do it.
The Volta region.
The Volta did it, but I think one of the, I heard, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so tied to the next story I want to do, just briefly, 4 die in Adenta Dodowa road crash. That's on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times. And 4 people lost their lives in a gory accident yesterday when a Kia Rhino truck crashed into a motorcycle and other vehicles at Fulani Junction on the Adenta Dodowa road in the Greater Accra region. I bring that up because of the statistics we are dealing with. Reminder, 2,589 dying in road crashes last year. And, you know, quite a number of them, about 40% plus, owing to motorcycles. So I reiterate, let's stay safe. We just, okay, so I suppose there's not enough time to do my JoyOnline.com. Mama V, anything else to?
Oh, yeah, just, you know, after sports, after Oreko presents the sports, we will get into a matter. If you followed our hotline documentary produced by Justice Beidou yesterday, Surviving a Pandemic, there's a group of persons that I guess you and I don't think about every day, even in this pandemic. Those are persons with disabilities, and Justice put the spotlight on them. We have a conversation on the back of that. You've got to stay with us. One of the things they talk about is the psychological effect of all the protocols that we've been asked to follow. It sounds simple to you, but it's very complicated to another person. It's a very important conversation, and we would like all of you to stay so we can have that conversation together. Our guest, Dr. Ruth Owusu-Entry, is head of psychiatry units at the Confrontation Teaching Hospital. She will be joining us with some thoughts.
And Justice Beidou himself, right?
Well, hopefully.
Should we get him?
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, that's how we wrap it up on the News Review segment. It's time now for sports. Do stay.